Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is your Gamers Boy here, fixing to break down some more cards for you. Today we are doing a Magic and Trap card special on what cards to trade, what cards not to trade. Alright, here we go. First off, we have Dark Magical Circle. This is a card that is only exclusive to only the Dark Magician family, and it's a really cool card. As you can clearly see, when this card is activated, I can look at the top 3 cards of my deck. Thus, I can rearrange them if they are not have dark magic in their name. I would not trade this because this is like, again, another Heart of the Cards moment. You can pull a Dark Magician or any Dark Magician card for that matter. I would not trade this. 1,000 Knives, another card exclusive to the Dark Magician family. Basically, if I control a Dark Magician, then you can destroy one of your opponent's monsters. It's quite simple, actually. Very simple. And who doesn't have a Dark Magician? Come on. Explosive Urchin. As you can tell, this is a bust card that I just found and kept. You know why? Because it's really powerful. This card is a responsive card. If my opponent activates a trap card, then I can negate it, and if so, destroy it. Oh, check this out. It's permanent. I would not trade this card. It's super powerful. Just like all the other cards I have. Here's Dragon's Bind. This card only works if you have a dragon deck. If you special summon a dragon, then your opponent cannot special summon monsters with attack is equal as or higher. It's a bind. It makes sense. Personally, I would trade this because, I don't have any powerful dragon monsters, so they can just special summon them to the field and kill me. I would trade this. You might not. There's a lot of dragon users out there. Ordeal of a Traveler. This card is activated during the opponent's attack phase. It's a permanent trap, and your opponent has to guess a card in your hand, whether it's magic, trap, or monster. So, you don't have any cards in your hand, they can attack. So, I would keep cards in your hand just to make sure. Other than that, I would keep this card. It's really handy, but just be careful when using it. Heart of the Underdog. Oh, hey, look, it's your boy Joey, locked inside of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's a permanent spell. You ain't getting out anytime there, Joey. Sorry, buddy. But during your draw phase, you can draw a normal monster, and if so, you reveal it and draw one more card. And the cycle continues if you have nothing but normal monsters. I would not trade this because if you're a normal person, then, you would keep that. But I'm not normal. Pretty sure none of us are, so we would trade that. Graceful Tear. You can add one card from your hand, give it to your opponent, and gain 2,000 life points. Seems like a pretty fair trade, right? Well, if you have only one card in your hand and it's the best card in your entire deck, or it's your signature card, or if you're just like Yugi and you don't want to sacrifice your cards based on nothing, then I would trade this. There are a lot more cards that are much more powerful than this. And it's not even permanent, so I don't know why you would keep that. Mystical Space Typhoon. I don't see any typhoons around here, but there's one in this card, and it destroys spells and traps. Only one, though, and it's a quick play spell. My trouble understanding this is that I was in a duel one time, and I used this card when my opponent used the exact same card. We just came to the conclusion that they canceled, so if that doesn't answer any questions for you, I apologize, but I would not trade this card. It's extremely effective, and it could really solve all your problems in a duel. Here is your one and only Supply Squad. Your monster gets destroyed, you draw a card. And this is permanent, so you can keep drawing cards as long as your monsters keep getting destroyed. But it's only by battle. I would keep this card because it's like drawing once before the actual draw phase. It's quite useful. Light Force Sword, do you remember yesterday when I told you about Consolation Prize? Yeah, because this last video, is very based off of Yu-Gi's classics, and this Light Force sword is one of them. I banish one of my cards, or excuse me, I banish a card from my opponent's hand until their fourth standby phase. It's a classic. Pretty sure we all know what it does. Dark Bribe. I don't know why Yu-Gi-Oh cards are full of dark and evil things, but pretty useful. When an opponent's spell or trap card is activated, then my opponent draws one card, and plus I can negate the activation. And if I do, I destroy it. It's not a quick play. It's a responsive trap. Just like any other responsive trap is one of the most powerful traps in the game. So, there you have it. Ancient rules. I don't see anything about this card that seems ancient to me. Now I'm kidding. It's ridiculously ancient. You can basically special summon one level 5 or higher monster from my hand. And it has to be normal, and just in case I didn't mention that. My code, the Magical Mist. I target one face-up summon skull or electric type monster I have on the field. And then I target one monster on my opponent's side of the field with defense less than or equal to the attack of the monster that I originally chose, and that monster cannot conduct their battle phase. The last two cards I would definitely keep. Because Dark Magician, Blue Eyes are normal monsters. You have those cards in your hand, then you can defeat your opponent in 1, 2, 3. Extremely useful if I do say so myself. And Maiku the Magical Mist, not a card to be trifled with. Alright, do you remember last video where I told you about Swords of Concealing Light and it's weaker than its old pal Swords of Revealing Light? Well, here it is. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack for 3 whole turns. Yes, I just copied a quote. Isn't it pretty cool? The swords, you know, like, alright, whatever. Here's Quaking Mirror Force. Now, this does not destroy your opponent's monsters, so don't get too excited. It's when an opponent's monster declares an attack, I change all my opponent's attack position monsters to face down defense, and their position cannot be changed. Again, the last 2 cards I would definitely keep because they can save your hide at a really critical moment in a duel. Helps me out a lot. Though somehow the heart of the cards always lets me down. I can never draw these cards. And that is all for today for Magic and Trap Card Special. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for more notifications. And I also want to give a shout out to my buddies Nico Destroyer on YouTube. Give them a shout out. Give Quebblecop a shout out. All my buddies that I subscribe down there. Alright. This is the Gamer's Boy. Signing out. Bye-bye.